Hey Kia Hyundai channel, it's been a little while. My name's Gabi and today's video is a live streamed walkthrough of the 2025 Kia K4 in the GT line turbo trim level. And you may be thinking, Gabi, you've already filmed this car. Matter of fact, you filmed it multiple times. And the answer is, well, not exactly. Sorry, that was a little bit of a jump scare. Not exactly. We often get the GT line turbo limited model, which sits at the very top of the Kia K4 lineup. Now for this particular model, it still gets the turbocharged engine and it still gets the GT line sporty accents for both the interior and the exterior. But what it does save you is $3,000. So this vehicle is priced at $31,495 Canadian, an exact $3,000 less than the trim level above, and here's what it gets you. I will give you guys a disclaimer first. If you've never seen one of our videos before, this is being done completely live. So no script, no editing. It's me and the camera and the car, and we're gonna get right into it right now. I said I didn't have any help today, but I do actually have Michael who's gonna man the camera for a little while. He doesn't have a mic on today because he's feeling a little out of it, but that's all right, aren't we all? All right, Michael's gonna grab the camera and we'll get straight into it. So I'd first like to start off with what the Kia K4 is in Kia's lineup. If you're not too familiar, maybe you're not a Kia nerd like we are, this is our compact sedan. And compact may come as a surprise because it looks like quite a large vehicle. It's larger than the outgoing Kia Forte, however, it still fits in the compact segment, and you'll certainly see that based off its price point and its fuel consumption. This vehicle is extremely spacious and looks pretty dang good. First, start off with what we see on the front end of the vehicle, and I can't help myself. I got to start off with the amber daytime running lights. So this orange amber lamp is going to extend all the way down for your headlight unit and act as, number one, your daytime running lights, but also your turn signal indicator. It's bold, it's bright, and it gives this vehicle a lot of character. On the topic of lights, let's talk about the rest of the system. So both your low and high beams and just your main bulbs are going to be full LEDs, so nice bright white lights. LEDs are going to last longer and burn brighter, and I mean, they do work a whole lot better too. This vehicle does have intelligent high beam assist as well, so that pretty much means you'll set your auto high beam on and your vehicle will shut off the high beams if it senses another car or enough sufficient light around you. In terms of GT line styling, you'll see a lot of gloss black accents all throughout the vehicle, but on the topic of the front end, we'll see some points here, extending or widening the stance of the car, a nice gunmetal finish on the lip, and then throughout the grille, you'll notice it is all coated in gloss black. Very sleek, very classy, and of course, very sporty, which is exactly what the GT line gets you. For your Kia emblem, it's finished in a brushed aluminum finish, and we still have a couple more touches of just lighter elements. So this isn't exact a true chrome, but we have a little bit of a metal there. Lower on the front end of your vehicle, you'll have a forward-facing radar plate. Now this radar plate does a lot for the advanced safety systems in your car. One of which I want to highlight more than the others, and that's because it starts on this specific trim level. It's called Highway Drive Assist Level 2, and essentially that means this vehicle will not only adjust its speed based off traffic ahead of you, but it'll also steer for you to make sure you're centered in your lane, and it just handles everything related to your regular driving. A couple more style elements, more gloss black on the upper grille, and then the exclusive Brantford Kia plate frames. I'd like to start next with talking about what's under the hood. So, as the name suggests, there's the turbo in this model. It's going to be your introductory trim level to the 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Now this engine is gasoline direct injection. Let me get that a lift, there we go. We do have our strap bar there to hold up our hood, so no hydraulic lift for the hood, but we do have our latch. And then for your powertrain, this 1.6 liter turbo will produce 190 horsepower with 195 pound-feet of torque. You may remember that the previous Kia Forte GT turbo models had the same engine. Now, of course, the horsepower and torque outputs are slightly different. I don't imagine you would feel much of a difference driving them back to back. What you will feel a difference in, however, is the comfort that the K4 will provide over the Forte, and largely, in my opinion, I think that has to come down to the transmission choice. So on the Kia Forte of the past, when you got the turbo model, you got a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which was fun, snappy, and sporty. Now instead, we get an 8-speed regular automatic. So what does that mean for you as a daily driver? That means this transmission is going to feel a whole lot more smooth. This vehicle uses a regular torque converter automatic. There's no real lugging or shuddering, I was about to say shuddering at slowdowns or standstills. This will be a more daily drivable vehicle, if that makes sense. Now you may have loved the dual clutch transmission, but there's no denying that a regular automatic transmission just makes more sense for the average person. I will also say its reliability is very well proven. All right, let's take a look at the wheels now. Another styling element that adds on to the GT line is our larger wheels, but also new styling. So we've gone from a 17-inch diameter wheel to an 18-inch with a mix of both gloss black and machine finished accents. You'll get larger brakes up at the front just because this vehicle does have a little bit more power. There are also ventilated disc brakes in the front with solid disc brakes being in the rear. On the topic of more styling, surrounding your wheel arches, you get gloss black arches. I think they look quite nice on this vehicle and complement the steel gray exterior paint very nicely. In terms of paint options, we have a whole bunch for the GT line turbos, and one thing I will say quite confidently, doesn't matter which paint you get, this car just looks pretty good. Even with the white exterior, all the gloss black surrounding it bolds it, kind of gives it a very sharp contrast. I think it just looks fantastic, even the reds and the blues too. Comment below which color you would pick for your K4. If you're in the States, maybe you have different color options, but here where we are, we see a lot of whites, blacks, and grays. All right, next up, let's talk mirrors. Gloss black mirrors for that sporty and sleek look, matching all the other exterior design elements in the car, with an LED turn signal indicator mounted on the mirror itself, and a little bit more of that almost matte chrome finish. On the flip side, where the actual mirror is located, you'll notice that we have blind spot detection on this vehicle, so that icon will illuminate if there's a vehicle in your left or right blind spot, and of course it'll show on the corresponding mirror. While we're on the topic of safety, there's a couple more points I want to make just because even in its entry trim level, the K4 is packed with a whole lot of advanced tech and safety functions. So I'll have Michael show the very center of our windshield, which houses a camera that monitors what's happening on the road ahead of you. This camera will be on the lookout for vehicles, pedestrians, cyclists, and of course the lanes ahead of you too. So this vehicle has the capability of warning you if there's a risk of a collision with, again, pedestrians, cyclists, or cars, and also hitting the brakes to avoid said collisions. There's also a larger array of collision systems where this vehicle can pick up the risk. So on the previous Forte, we still had collision avoidance, but now this works in junctions, it works making left lane changes. There's a lot that this car can see that maybe the previous model couldn't. You also do get the lane centering system and the lane departure warning system, which will alert you or give you some gentle feedback to keep you in your lane. All right, convenience for our door handles. They may look like regular door handles, but we do have our proximity entry button on both driver and passenger front doors. That simply means that as long as the key is somewhere on me, I can press on the select side and it'll unlock the car for me. Super handy, especially for us here in Canada where we wear multiple layers in the winter and forgot which pocket you put your key in. Well, I love it. Surrounding your mirror, I was going to say mirrors, windows, we have a belt line of, again, that satin chrome with gloss black for your pillars. You may notice a little fun accent on the K4, and that is the fact that your rear doors have pillar-mounted door handles. Kind of odd, I know. We were not the first car to do this, okay? Other people have done this too. Like, you know, the Honda, or no, the Toyota CHR, I think they do that. Anyway, ours looks way cooler, arguably. The body of this vehicle is very fastback-esque. You'll see that a lot once we get to the rear of the car. So lots of sharp, wide lines. You'll notice the hips of the vehicle pop out. It gives a very sporty silhouette, regardless of if you get the GT line trim or the entry model. That being said, the GT line definitely enhances the sportiness thanks to all the gloss black elements, and of course the powertrain. You get a more aggressive powertrain. On the suspension topic, we have a multi-link rear suspension with a tuned spring and damper too. So not only will this vehicle handle spirited driving a bit nicer, it's also great for just your regular day-to-day. I mean, it handles like a dream. The sound and the noise, the vibration, the harshness on this car, it is so well insulated thanks to things like an acoustic windshield, your solar windows, and of course, just the build. This vehicle was built quite well, so if you're listening to your music, you may not really appreciate how quiet it is, but on a completely silent ride, you'll think, wow, I can't hear much. All right, and now for the very rear, let's take a look at the style first before I talk about the functions. We have a funky taillight bar, so a mix of LED and bulbs for your tail lamps. Looks very futuristic, very sharp, expanding towards the very center where it transforms into another gloss black piece. Your rear view camera is right underneath the eye in Kia, and then to the right we have a release for your hatch. Now the hatch on this vehicle operates in a couple different ways. Number one, thank goodness there's actually a button here to release it. A lot of compact sedans make you release a foot pedal in the driver's area, or you gotta pull out your key and press the button there. This is easy. You can also just walk up to the back of your car. As long as you've got your key on it, the vehicle will sense that as long as you've got the key on you, the vehicle will sense that you're trying to get in and automatically open the liftgate for you. That's a function that you can turn either on or off. In terms of cargo space, we have 413 liters of space, and it's always so hard to show on a sedan simply because everything is lined in black, but there is a lot of room here. Should you choose to knock down the rear seats, you have 2 pull tabs for the 60-40 split, with 60 being on the right-hand side. And one thing I am very grateful for, Kia has included a compact spare tire with the K4. So no inflator kit, we get an actual spare tire, which is a fantastic peace of mind, especially if you are someone who drives on Canadian roads. We don't exactly have the best ones. Little piece right over here of, again, gloss black. I absolutely love the fact that they've included this here. A lot of people would probably put it as a little lip spoiler or whatnot. I think this definitely adds to the fastback-like style. It looks like we have a very short trunk because a lot of people think that's just an inclusion of the rear window here, but no. I think the way they styled this car, they did such a fantastic job. I realize our showroom lights have gone off, so I'm just gonna walk over here and hopefully the motion sensor will pick me up. Oh, not yet. Guys, look how far I have to go to get the lights back on. There we go. All right, one more thing I want to talk about is the fuel consumption on this vehicle. So the turbo models, they're all front-wheel drive. You only get a front-wheel drive drivetrain configuration on this car. They're rated at 8 liters per 100 kilometers, and they have a 47-liter fuel tank. Now you may be thinking, with the turbo, that must mean I gotta put premium fuel in it, right? No, regular unleaded fuel is what's recommended, so you do not have to put premium in it. That is okay. That means this vehicle does not cost a lot to fill up. Believe me, you'll be very thankful about that. Gas prices are no joke. All right, time to check out the inside. Before I hop in, I'll have Michael just show a quick pan of the interior. You'll notice a lot of beautiful two-tone accents and a certainly modern, tech-savvy cabin. So, steering wheel, two-tone with white stitching, white inserts on the inner portion of the wheel as well as your main airbag. The seats will have white piping on the side with a nice white headrest, GT line debossing inside the upper back portion of the seat, and then some subtle white stitching too. So great to include this option. I guess not option, this is standard. Woo, hello. So very nice to have this two-tone as standard on the K4 because from a dealership perspective, I see a lot of new vehicles every day. All of them have boring interiors. This makes it fun, but it doesn't make it too drastic that if you are someone who prefers black interior, it's a deal breaker. The white accents are pretty subtle and they're not in the most, crucial places, so it's fairly easy to clean still. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about what we get. So on the door, Kia did something a little bit different. Here's where you'll find your comfort controls for not only the heated seats, but also the heated steering wheel. You get 2 different levels for the steering wheel and 3 different levels for the seats. Your door handles are a nice brushed or almost matte chrome. And then for our door arms section here, you'll see we have our mirror adjustments, so both left and right, with the power movements, your lock and unlock, as well as 2 express windows for the front with regular power windows in the rear. You also have your window lock. The material here is a nice smooth material with some soft touch along the back portion, said that weird. One thing I will say, because this isn't piano black, it is far more fingerprint resistant than, of course, piano black. That's arguably the worst material to use in a car. Lower portion, we have a little bottle holder and our regular in-house sound system. The Kia K4 comes standard with 8 airbags, impeccable advanced safety, so just preventative safety functions, and a very comfortable cabin. Let's talk a little bit more about what we got here, and then I'll have Michael join me on the side. Got a brightness adjustment for your screens, a power or electronic parking brake, as well as our traction control button. Surrounding your vents, you have some more metal accents, and then this fun, almost hatching in the dash itself. You'll also get a sneak peek at the ambient lighting that comes in this vehicle. So nice to have ambient lighting, not necessarily only available on the top trim. Matches the GT line sporty interior perfectly, in my opinion. All right, Michael, you want to join me? Oh, he needs some water. It's okay, it's okay. Michael's not feeling too well. Before he joins me, I might as well actually talk about the seat. So the seat is a power driver seat, and this is actually your starting trim level to introduce a power driver seat. You got your height adjustment, your backrest adjustment, and then your lumbar support. I might actually let Michael take a break and enjoy his time because he is struggling, and I'll just pay attention to the steering wheel again for a second. So beautiful two-tone wheel with your driving controls on the left-hand side, so smart cruise control here, and then your steering assistance, as well as a notepad button to cycle between the menus on your gauge cluster. Now take a look at this gauge cluster. It is quite interesting. There is a lot on it. Sorry you guys for the pause, I hopped in the car. There is a lot going on here, and it is a full 12.3-inch digital display. You'll always have your speedometer and your tachometer on display. Well, it's showing me my doors. There you go, tachometer on display. But you do have the option to cycle between what's shown in the middle. Great thing about Kia's latest software, if you're someone who chooses to use Apple CarPlay or Google Maps, you'll actually have your Apple CarPlay map or directions in that very center instead of only showing the Kia's nav system. So I'm very happy about that. A couple more screens and then we'll get into the actual layout of the interior. We have over here a climate control screen. Now this seems like it's blocked by the steering wheel, and that's because it kind of is. But you know what isn't? This little plus icon. So this will always be within driver's reach to expand the climate control screen if you need to change anything there. Now, with that being said, not everyone likes doing climate control on the screen, so isn't it convenient that Kia actually also integrated regular toggles to change, you know, the simple things. Not everything has to be a whole computer sesh. So we got our temperature controls, our fan speed controls, as well as the fan mode and the temperature for passenger. And that's right, you guys, you heard it here first. This is your introductory trim level to having dual climate control, both driver and passenger. I do want to quickly mention the main screen here because we do have some advancements to the software on our vehicles. And before I speak any further on that, I must take off the screen protector, not protector, but just plastic cover, because the glare was atrocious. All right, now we can take a look. So we've got our main screen here. When you load into the vehicle, this is what it'll look like. You can, however, adjust it to your preference. So if you never use Kia's in-house navigation, you can kick that off to another screen and make it more personable to you. It's also a pull-down menu that lets you change things like the brightness of the screen, shut off your display, and access other settings. So very much like a smartphone would be. Speaking of smartphone, our vehicles now support wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on our larger screens, thanks to the new CCNC software, which is standard on the Kia K4. So all trim levels will have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Below that, if you're not a fan of screens all the time, that's okay. We have physical buttons to jump you to whatever it is you're looking for. If you want your setup menu, press setup, it'll take you right over there. So nice and simple, even though this is a very tech-forward car. For styling, we still have those hash marks expanding all the way across, and then the nice accents of ambient lighting that you can change to whatever color you would like. For Michael's seat, it is also heated with his heat adjustment being on the driver, just like mine, and the same use of materials along your door. In the very center, we have our gear shift, and it is a regular lever style gear shift. So nice, straightforward. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you have somewhere to rest your hands. You also have your auto hold button, a button that you can press to summon your park view camera, and then your push to start ignition is right up above. Above that, we have a wireless phone charger with advancements that make your phone not heat up as much and gives it a little bit of elevation, so it's a bit better supported. You have two USB-Cs. This one is simply for fast charging, and the one on the left can do both data connectivity and fast charging. There's also a 12 volt here for your convenience. Before I get into anything else, I just want to quickly point out the fact that I missed the paddle shifters. So this vehicle does come with paddle shifters on the turbo model, so GT Line Turbo with GT Line Turbo Limited if you'd like to manually cycle through your 8 gears. All right, center we have adjustable cup holders, so you can pop them out whenever you need, just like that, or you can push them right back in if you just need this area for space. Your center console is just a regular standard size. There's nothing too special, nothing too crazy going on over here, but it is nice that it is completely covered. Your headliner is all black, which really makes this car feel sportier and more modern. I love a black interior and black headliner, but the white touches definitely brighten up the space too, so you don't feel like you're in a dark little hole. Now we can take a look at the rear. Michael, are you all right?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you guys will find this funny or not, but just about all of our push-to-start vehicles have the start button somewhere over here. Every single time I try to turn off a K4 or any of our cars that have it somewhere else, I'm always reaching over here. It's down here on this car. Of course, if you owned this vehicle, you'd get used to it pretty quick. And then Michael, I'll meet you in the back, and I'm just gonna open the sunroof. So power sunroof on this vehicle, it starts on the EX Plus trim level of the K4. Back here we have extra wide main seats over here, so very, very comfy. I will also say this is a synthetic leather, but it is so soft and so supple. It feels very premium. In the very center, this is a seat, so should you choose to put someone here, make sure they're your shortest passenger. But with that being said, the Kia K4 does have class-leading rear legroom. It's tied with the Hyundai Elantra, no surprise. They are sister vehicles. So there is quite literally a lot of space back here. If I were to sit normally and have my back fully depressed against the seat, you can see I have a good amount of headroom over here. It is, again, a darker headliner, so sometimes it gives the illusion of being smaller, but I don't feel cramped at all for space, that's for sure. Underneath the seats ahead of you, you do have a little bit of room to stretch, relax out your legs. Of course, it will depend on who is sitting ahead of you. I have about almost an entire forearm's worth of space between my knee and the seat back. Speaking of, the seat back might look a little funky. That is because it doubles as a bag holder or coat hanger. So it just keeps your stuff off the ground and looks pretty cool while doing it. All right, right over here we have our rear air vents, 2 USB-Cs, a little pocket here if you'd like to put a phone that could be charging in, of course, the USB-Cs. And then the passenger seat has a mesh back pocket. There are 2 anchors for car seats, so on the main seats of the car, of the vehicle. And then if no one's sitting in the very center, you can drop down this center area to give yourself cup holders, armrests, whatever you'd like to use this for. When I was a kid, I used this as my little nap time station. I used to go like that. It was pretty great. All right, you guys, now that's about it for my live walkthrough of the Kia K4. Now I'm gonna take a couple minutes to answer some of your questions and see what you have to say about it. Let's go. Oh, Michael, can I take that from you for a second? Before we do that though, here's a look at the sunroof. So it's an extra wide style sunroof with a little mesh bug net. Very, very wide indeed, so much wider than what you would have seen in the previous Forte. Just because Ryan is on and moderating, I want to ask him firsthand because he drives a Kia Forte GT line. Oh, sorry, not GT line, GT Limited. Sorry, it's the new naming system. GT Limited. Michael, you're free to go if you don't want to be here. That's okay. Thank you for your help. So if you've driven the K4, Ryan, tell me how it measures up. Are you liking your Forte more? Do you think there's some advancements to the K4? Let's see from an ownership's perspective. And in the meantime, let's check out your questions. So, has Charlotte left already? Charlotte has taken some time off to spend time with her family and, more importantly, her daughter before she has another daughter. I don't know when she'll be back, hopefully soon, I miss her. But she is also very pregnant. What type of braking system does the Kia K4 GT line employ, e.g., example of ventilated discs, solid discs, and are there any performance brake upgrades or specific braking technologies? All right, so when you move over to this particular model, any of the turbocharged models, we are going to get larger brakes than the standard 2-liter naturally aspirated. They'll be ventilated on your front and then solid disc on the rear. So disc brakes all around, just again, ventilated up at the front. No, she did not have her baby yet. Did they show the exterior colors? So unfortunately, I don't have the resources to show you guys all of the exterior colors, but today's specific color is called steel gray. It's a metallic gray, almost silver. Let's see if I can get some of the metallic flake on video. Probably not. This artificial lighting inside does horribly. But there's a beautiful sheen to it. This was the color I originally chose for my Kia Forte, but then I ended up selling that car and was stuck getting a white one. Not that white is not great on a vehicle, it just wasn't my first choice. All right, let's see. What did I miss? Adele, the entire walkthrough. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. Large cup holders. Are the paddle shifters really adjusting the revs? So, I mean, in a way, yes, but what they are doing is adjusting the gears. So if you're going on a quicker speed and you downshift, your revs are gonna shoot up higher because, again, the gear speed's not matching the engine speed, but it doesn't necessarily adjust the revs, adjust the gears, which in turn will also adjust the revs. I gotta stop putting my iPad down. I feel like every time I pick a question to answer, I just put this down and start talking. We're gonna work on that. Someone said, there's a K3 question mark? Not in Canada. So this is actually the only sedan in Kia's current lineup here in Canada. We don't get a K5 anymore. There's no more Kia Stinger. There's no more Kia Forte. It is just the K4. We will get the EV4 eventually, which is an electric sedan. So what cars got replaced? The Forte, Optima, and Cerato? We never got the Cerato here, but yes, the Forte has been replaced. The Optima was replaced by the K5, which has been discontinued. And then the Stinger was the only Stinger we ever had. That's also been gone. TRD RAV4 said no word on the K4 hatch. Nothing official in terms of delivery dates, so we don't have anything incoming built yet, but we know we will be seeing them very shortly. That being said, it's pretty safe for me to say that I think we will see 3 trim levels of the K4 hatch. We'll definitely see a naturally aspirated option, and then I think we might get 2 turbo models, probably with the same naming platform with the GT Line Turbo and then GT Line Turbo Limited for the fully loaded model. I can't guarantee what the price will be like. It might be a little bit more expensive than the standard sedan, but I won't imagine it be anything too crazy. No gloss black to be found here. Exactly, there really is no gloss black on this car, which I think is fantastic. My Forte, it was showing some signs of wear on the gloss black, even though I'm someone who typically always keeps my car very tidy and takes care of it. What else, you guys? Someone said, I got the GT Line Turbo a couple months ago because of this channel and couldn't be happier. And I think on that note, we gotta end off this video because it has been a fantastic opportunity just being able to inform you guys on these vehicles. And every time I hear someone say, I got a car because of these videos, I'm like, what? That's just it's so crazy to hear. I'm so happy for you and your new ride. I can personally say this is a fantastic car. It makes me smile every time I drive one, and I hope it's doing the same effect for you. All right, you guys, before it gets too long, I'm gonna end off today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again tomorrow live at 2 p.m. Bye-bye.